Welcome into the WCI3, your Illini Nation pregame show, live from Marquette as Marley Weirda and Derek Piper are in Milwaukee tonight getting set for the Gavitt tip-off games. We're going to join them in just a couple of moments here as Illinois is looking to improve to 3-0 on the season. Here's the matchup. It's a 6 o'clock start. Illinois up to number 10 in the national AP rankings this week. They move up a spot. Marquette comes into this matchup as well, 2-0, 6 p.m. start on Fox Sports 1 as the Illini make their first road trip of the season. Let's go ahead and head on out to Milwaukee where Derek Piper and Marley Weirda are standing by live. Take it away, guys. What's the update there from First Serve Forum?
Yeah, hey Brett, how's it going? We have just arrived here in Milwaukee, and pretty cool arena, home to the Milwaukee Bucks, also the Marquette Golden Eagles. They've been playing here for a couple years. Excited for this one. The initial takeaway, I guess, breaking news that we'll share just as we arrived here. We saw Austin Hutcherson taking a couple shots, warming up. Derek, you were here a little bit earlier than I was. Can you share any more about what you maybe saw from him on the court and what he was doing out there in that warm-up period?
Yeah, he was in uniform and getting shots up with some other guys out there, and this is something that previous two games was obviously in street clothes, and prior to the Arkansas State game, you saw Curbelo and Trent Frazier early on, so that usually is an indication of at least being available to go tonight. Now we'll see, because he hasn't still gotten a lot of practice time, so I'm not 100% sure that he will go, but it's an encouraging sign that he's back on the floor, taking some strides towards his return. And you do have a week after this game prior to going to Kansas City, so if he does not play tonight, he might be available, but maybe just kind of an emergency situation. But it is encouraging that maybe in a week from now that he is ready to go and give you some minutes in that backcourt.
Yeah, and it's a much more encouraging situation than maybe the team was in a week ago when they tipped off for that home opener. 4 guys missing from the starting lineup, including Kofi, including Trent Frazier, including Andre Curbelo. The good news is for Illini fans, this is the last game that Kofi Coburn will have to sit out. It's the final of his 3 games serving that NCAA suspension for selling gear. But I think Illinois has still been in a good spot. I've been really encouraged with how they've been able to overcome some of that adversity, especially in the first game with Trent Frazier and Andre Curbelo being out, Kofi out, and Austin Hutcherson as well in that second game against Arkansas State. Guys have really stepped up, and I think, Illini fans have a lot to be excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 1, I know, wasn't a huge test against Jackson State, but you just had to get through that one with the absences in the backcourt and be able to business, which you did. And then Arkansas State game 2 was a decent test, at least you thought, going in, because they had some talent. They had a transfer from Arkansas. They had a big man down low that they put up a lot of points and was a promising, mid-major type of player. And Illinois just handled their business and really dominated at both ends of the floor. I think defensively, you're loving what you're seeing, just the effort level at that end. Coleman Hawkins is making a big impact because provides that length, athleticism they haven't had at the 4 spot, and just were able to shut down Arkansas State and not even making the game. So Jacob Grandison's done a great job of taking on more of a scoring role and doing more off the dribble. And of course, Andre came out and was the magician as always with the ball in his hands. And
a little chirpy.
A little chirpy. Blowing kisses to the bench. That was
the ref
fun.
Didn't like the kiss.
No, I didn't like the kiss. Brad obviously backed his guy, which is good to see. He was okay with that. But Trent Frazier also locking down the perimeter. So you're just building up to now where you're in a stretch where 7 of your next 8 are against high major opponent. It's time to find out what this team's made of, and one more to survive, like you said, without the big fella down low.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Brad Underwood said heading into this game. This game, is really about finding out where they are and figuring out that depth. Sure, they were able to succeed against maybe some lower level teams, but how big is this test for them? I mean, should they be underestimating this Marquette team?
No, it's a team that has talent for sure, and someone you're familiar with in Daryl Morcell that was at Maryland and came to the State Farm Center last year and outplayed Iowa. Like, to be honest with you, had season high 19 points and was a big reason that Maryland came in and upset Illinois. And he's really been a tough matchup for this Illini squad in recent years because he has size of the guard spot. He's really tough and a very good defender as well. So you got to be able to keep him under wraps tonight. He's played really, really well, and with his new squad, 20+ in both of his first 2 games with them. And they have some other high major transfers. You look throughout their starting lineup, they replaced all 5 starters, but they went and got a guy from Clemson. Justin Lewis is one they did bring back. He's very physical at the 4 spot. I think that for as well as Coleman's played, this is going to be a big test because at 6'7", 245, he wants to throw his body around, and we'll see if Coleman can handle that. And their 5-man's a transfer from Oklahoma, who's one of the best shot blockers in the Big 12 last year. So they do have talent. Now, they struggled. They only won in this building by 5 against New Hampshire on Friday. So that's one where you're kind of like, all right, we'll see how they're playing early on in Shaka Smart's tenure. But they do have the talent to compete, for sure.
Yeah, and this was like just a nerdy thing of me. I went back to see how Illinois played in NBA arenas, specifically 2-4 under head coach Brad Underwood. We know what happened last time they played in an NBA arena. We won't go there, but it's something maybe Illinois fans would rather like to forget, the team as well. You mentioned Coleman Hawkins. I've been very impressed with him so far, and his versatility. I think he's not, when Kofi comes back, when that is next week, I don't think maybe he's going to have these kind of breakout games or score as many points, but I think while he's gone, and I think it's assuring as well that he's been playing so well and that Illinois can kind of rely on him for a little bit of depth. How impressed have you been with Coleman this season so far, just the 2 games?
Yeah, super impressed for a guy that almost minutes a game last year. Right. And you would think that normally in that situation you would need to take some time to get his feet wet and build some confidence, but he is not short on confidence at all. Another guy that likes to get a little chirpy out there, maybe too much for Underwood sometimes, but he just brings so much energy, and he's just all over the floor, and someone that very mobile, very athletic, very long. He gives you that versatility defensively, and then offensively able to stretch the floor, able to run the court, and Curbello's finding him on the fast break, which has been something that you see in that chemistry continue to develop. But Underwood already made the move, putting him in the starting lineup where you had Omar Payne at the 5, Coleman at the 4. It would seem that when Kofi comes back, Coleman's going to stay there at the 4 spot, maybe continue to bring DeMonte Williams off the bench. They're clearly earning a lot of trust from that coaching staff, and this will be a bigger test for him tonight, but man, you got to love what you've seen for him so far.
Sure, and I think Jacob Grandison kind of parallels this situation as well. He was a guy that got decent minutes last season, but maybe, didn't average the most. He wasn't like the top scorer on the team or anything, but I think he's really having a breakout year. He told us in the press conference the other day, he's like, yeah, this has always been here. You guys have just never seen it before. I like that confidence. I like what we're seeing from him. And Benjamin Bosmans Verdonk as well. I think just this whole team has done a great job of stepping up when guys are missing, but it is assuring, like I mentioned before, that when Kofi does return, or if there are other injuries that happen on this team, is that they have some guys to rely on, like Jacob Grandison and Bosmans Verdonk. How are you impressed with them and what they've been able to do in these 2 games?
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob Grandison just taking on a role that's a little bit different, obviously without Io making plays off the dribble. And he's not going to be a star type of player, not a go-to scorer, but someone that's very capable, someone that's very confident. And he did show some very good things last year as a glue guy, as a guy that can catch and shoot that 3 over 40%, but now has the confidence to do a little bit more off the dribble and be a little bit of a secondary playmaker, which is encouraging just to see the growth in his game. And like you said with BBV, to go game, come in and give 10 rebounds, the physicality on the glass, and I think someone for him, like just building confidence, and had to be kind of this nervous energy going into a game for the first time when you miss so much action, to have success and just continue to build on that. And when we think about teams that have had a lot of success in March, and you look back to Baylor last year, of course you're going to have your stars at the very, very top, and similar to that with Illinois, it's Kofi and Andre Curbelo, but teams that have just great depth and role players and guys you can rely on different nights, that really makes those contenders that can make deep pushes in March. And I think you're seeing encouraging signs of Illinois maybe having that this year.
Sure, and I'm not going to bet on it, but it'd be cool to see Brandon Pajimski get a couple of minutes tonight. He's only 30 minutes away from his hometown. I'm sure he grew up maybe coming to this arena, watching some games, so I think that would be really cool for him tonight. But biggest keys of the game tonight, Derek, what does Illinois need to do to win here tonight? They're only 8-point favorites in this one, according to Vegas.
Yeah, right. They got to handle the road environment. Do you think? I know in the line notes and stats, it said the first time since that Ohio State game in 2020 in Columbus, at the end of the regular season, is the last time they played a true road game in front of a capacity crowd. So having a student section, which we're right next to right now, that's going to get on you. And you think about Curbelo and Coleman and even Jacob Grandison, since his time at Illinois, hasn't played in a road environment like this. So being able to stay composed, and this is a Shaka Smart team. You think back to the style of play that he had at VCU, and it was a lot of havoc, as you like to say, full court pressure, trying to turn you over. Can Illinois not make mistakes and be being able to execute against that. I think that when you think about Curbello's ball handling ability, I think that with Illinois having veteran guards, that could put Marquette in a situation of being overly aggressive, of trying to put Illinois in a situation to turn it over. You break that pressure, you have numbers advantages on the other side. So I would say taking care of the ball, handling the road environment, and not letting Daryl Morcell go off against you one more time, because this team leans heavily on Morcell. He's had good success against Illinois. If you can make things tough, maybe Trent Frazier checks in tonight, that'd be a good thing to build towards being able to get a win here tonight.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you brought up. I had been thinking about it, but I just kind of forgot when we started the pregame show. It's the really true first road game since the 2019-2020 season. Yeah, they had a couple of road games last year, but they were played mostly in empty arenas, a couple in the NCAA tournament, but it wasn't that, like you mentioned, a true road environment. Illinois has kind of built themselves this identity of being a good, successful road team, and they've been able to play tough on the road. We'll see how they do here in this first test tonight. We'll start with our predictions. Derek, what do you got for a score for tonight?
I think that Illinois will handle their business. Now, I could see this being closer than maybe you'd look on paper. And like I said, Marquette struggles in New Hampshire. Weren't even that impressive in their opener against SIUE. I think that they handle the pressure. I think that plays against Marquette because Illinois does have the guard play to break it down. And Marquette is going to struggle. Like, their three-point percentage right now is 26%, not shooting it all that great. We know Illinois is playing great defensively. I have Illinois 79, Marquette 66. Illinois covers, gets the job done on the road.
All right, I'm going to pick Illinois as well. I'm making this up on the spot. Let's go Illinois 70 to 63. That's my prediction. Brett, we'll send it back to you in the studio. What are your predictions for this one?
Marley, I love how you're so just on it. Just made it up a few minutes ago. That's great. I think Illinois is going to have a chance to win this game tonight. And as Derek mentioned, it's really all about Daryl Morcell and stopping him. And the Illini weren't able to do that last year. What's the atmosphere like in there? I know it's an NBA arena, but walking in and home of the champs, Marley. So what's that like in there at First Serve Arena and to be in a place like that with fans again on the road?
Yeah, Brett. The music actually turned up a little bit. We had the DJ come up to us and he was like, "Is the music okay? I can turn it down if you guys need to talk." And we're like, "No, the music is perfect. Don't change it." It got really loud. So I couldn't quite hear the question, but I think you asked what the environment was like here. So far, I mean, like, people are starting to pack in. We have a student section here to our left. It's getting pretty full. I don't know how this place will look come game time. I think it'll be interesting because since it's not really a true home court, I guess, for the team, they kind of share it with, of course, the Bucks. I think kind of might be a little interesting. I don't know if they'll get a sellout crowd or anything like that. Quite a few Illinois fans here. What are your impressions of the arena, Derek? I mean, it's very clean. It's nice. I mean, it fits the part of an NBA arena. Definitely very spick and span.
Oh, yeah. It looks great. And I was telling Marley before, we got to find that NBA Finals trophy. It's got to be around here somewhere. They got the banner in the rafters, but you can tell this is very new, innovative type arena. Like you said, the student section filing in, and I do think that Illinois will have a decent showing. Not that far of a drive up if you're in the Chicagoland area or even from Champaign. I would expect Illinois to be well represented, and I think Marquette and Shaka, for a program that hasn't been super successful here recently, maybe need that buy-in before this place is fully hopping.
All right, Brett, that's going to do it for us here in Milwaukee. We'll have much more coming on the 5 o'clock newscast coming up right after this, along with 6 and 4 here. Derek, what do we have coming on Illini Inquirer?
Jeremy and I in the building. We'll have takeaways, maybe takeaways from the Brat House, which is down the road, maybe some brat and beer, cheese curd reviews. In all seriousness, much writing coming to Illini Inquirer as always.
All right, Brett, we'll send it back to you. That'll do it for us.
All right. Marley, thank you so much. Derek, thank you. Make sure to check out Illini Inquirer. Here before the game, 6 o'clock start. Let's take another look at the board here as Illinois is ready to try and go to 3-0, visiting the Golden Eagles. 10th ranked Illinois at that, if you're just getting home from work or staying a little bit late to finish up here. The Illini moved up a spot in the AP rankings today, and they are Now 10th in the nation, 2-0. Marquette coming in with a 2-0 record as well. And as you heard Derek say a little bit earlier, beat SIUE in their opener. Wasn't all that impressive necessarily. And then they took care of New Hampshire, but it was a close game, less than 10 points in their second game. Tonight, 6 o'clock on FS1. We will have coverage coming up tonight here in just a couple of minutes. If you're at home, go ahead and switch on over to WCIA3 News. Marley will rejoin us here from the arena in just a couple of minutes. We'll hear from the team and Jacob Grandison on going on the road and playing in that road environment for the first time for quite a few of these guys as Illini. And then coming up at 6, you will hear more from the team. I know the game will be going on, then you'll probably be locked in there. But much more to come online as well. We will have Brad Underwood's post-game press conference live on these same social media and digital channels. It'll probably be about 8:15 live from Milwaukee. So plenty of coverage coming up tonight. Then, of course, we'll have all your highlights, reaction coming up on the WCIA3 News at 10. Thanks so much for watching the Your Illini Nation pregame show. The next one will be next Monday, live from Kansas City, as Illinois will play Cincinnati in the Hall of Fame Classic, live from KC. All right, I'm Brett Behrens. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on the Your Illini Nation pregame show.